I think like any business, and let's say the Jewish community is like a business, I think we have to start with what our goal is. What are we trying to produce? What are we in business for? And I think historically, and I think we've lost our way in the Jewish community to a great extent, because historically, the Jewish community was never in the continuity business. I don't know where that came from, this notion of we're going to inspire young people because if they get involved in the Jewish community, then next year there'll be a Jewish community. Well, who cares then? I mean, if your only purpose is to keep the business alive, that's not an inspiring message, and there are plenty of other places that I can get involved in. Judaism, from the time of the prophets, imagined a world that could move in a certain direction. It could be over here, and it could end up over here. And over here was a better place. It was better for everyone. And Judaism had this remarkable message that we're not stuck over here. Not only can we get here, but you as an individual can actually move the world here, and that as a community, if we work together, we could actually move the entire world over here. That was the Jewish message. That's what the prophets talked about. They talked about a place that was better. They talked about a place where people could actualize themselves. They talked about a place where we could help the poor, we could help the widows, we could help the orphans. They talked about a place where people could get closer to who they were and closer to whatever their concept of God was. We were supposed to play a role in helping move the world that way. And I think we did for a lot of Jewish history. And I think in the past, I don't know how many years, we've become too focused on our own survival. I don't believe we can inspire a younger generation to be involved in the Jewish community so that they can ensure that their kids are involved in the Jewish community. It just becomes a self-serving argument. So I think the first thing is to really have new clarity on what our goal is and what this whole exercise is about. And I think we have lost sight of the forest because of the trees in that respect. I think secondly then, we figure out, well, now how do we marshal our forces to get there? You did some work on kind of what the GDP is of the Jewish not-for-profit world. Are we allocating our money towards that end? If I say I'm in, I'm in the business of making shoes, well, I have to put money into manufacturing. I have to put money into marketing. I have to figure out what I need to create the shoe, make sure it's the best shoe, get it out to market, and that people are going to buy it. But that's what my focus is. Is our money allocated towards survival only, or is our money allocated towards fulfilling some kind of mission and vision for how we can make the world a better place? And I'm not even talking about a better place where the lion is lying down with the lamb. I'm talking, can we move the ball down the field a little bit? When I grew up in Canada, and I used to teach canoeing every summer. I grew up going to overnight camps, and I was really into canoeing. And I remember when we used to go on canoe trips when we were kids, you're talking northern Ontario and pristine, beautiful areas, and we'd have cookouts on the canoe trips. And our instructor, our canoeing instructor, said to us, you know what, before we leave the campsite, you have to leave it a little cleaner than when we got here, because there's too many people who don't care about the campsite. So if you just leave it the same as when you got here, over the course of the years, this campsite's going to get ruined. So if you want to be a responsible camper, you have to leave the campsite just a little bit cleaner than you found it, just a little bit neater than you found it, just a little better stocked than you found it. I thought it was a great lesson. Are we leaving this campsite? Again, I don't think we have to completely reimagine the way the world works, but are we leaving the campsite just a little bit better than the way we found it? And if we're not, both as individuals and as a community, I'm not sure what claim we have on anyone's resources.